Hello everyone, my name is Zhihang. I am a third-year PhD student at the University of Tokyo. I am excited to present our latest research titled, Blur Interpolation Transformer for Real-World Motion from Blur. Let's dive into the key concept of our research, arbitrary time blur interpolation. Picture a motion-blurred photo. What if we could reverse the blur, and beyond that, reconstruct a high frame rate video from it? That's the essence of arbitrary time blur interpolation. It transforms a motion-blurred image into a sharp video sequence. And when we say arbitrary time, we mean generating sharp frames for any moment within the blurred capture interval. Here is a demo of arbitrary time blur interpolation, say, extracting 30 frames from this blurry image. Despite recent progress, current blur interpolation methods still face considerable challenges. First, even with synthetic datasets, the visual quality produced by existing methods is not satisfactory. Secondly, there's a significant generalization problem. Current methods do not perform well when applied to real-world data. Our research introduces two key advancements to address these issues, the blur interpolation transformer, and the real-world blur interpolation dataset. BIT is a novel model we've developed to effectively decode the temporal information hidden in motion blur, thereby enhancing the visual quality of interpolated frames. Here's how it works. BIT takes 3 consecutive frames as its inputs. From these, it extracts shallow features, which then undergo processing through n number of MSRSTB blocks. This process allows BIT to obtain shared temporal features, the yellow cube in the figure. Once the shared temporal features are obtained, they are encoded with a specific time, denoted as t. This encoded information, after being processed by m number of MSRSTB blocks in a lightweight reconstruction layer, allows us to generate a sharp frame corresponding to time t. The first key component of BIT is what we call the multiscale residual Swin self-transformer block, or MSRSTB. The beauty of the MSRSTB lies in its ability to effectively handle different scales of blur and to integrate information from adjacent frames. It operates in a coarse-to-fine manner, meaning it first deals with larger, more general patterns of blur and then refines its operation to focus on finer details. Let's now turn our attention to dual-ended temporal supervision, a pivotal strategy for enhancing our shared temporal features. This method involves forcing the reconstruction of sharp frames at the extreme time points, specifically at t equals 0 and t equals 1, using only the shared temporal features, without any time-specific encoding. In doing so, dual-ended temporal supervision serves as an anchor that distributes shared intermediate features effectively across the temporal dimension. As a result, these features become significantly more effective in rendering a sharp frame at any arbitrary time instance. Finally, we have the temporal symmetric ensembling strategy. This novel strategy begins with the removal of the last reconstruction layer in BIT. Consecutive frames can then be input into BIT in either their original sequence or in a reversed order. In both cases, T and 1-T encoding is applied for rendering the same target frame. To integrate the features from both the original and reversed orders, we introduce a new reconstruction layer. This forms our temporal symmetric ensembling strategy. By leveraging temporal symmetry, we're able to further enrich the shared temporal features for reconstruction. Synthesizing blur using discrete consecutive frames often leads to significant discontinuities, causing models trained on such data to perform poorly when faced with real-world scenarios. To address this, we've designed a coaxial camera system based on a beam splitter, which pairs a low FPS camera with a high FPS camera. This allows us to simultaneously capture aligned low FPS blurry videos and high FPS sharp videos, providing rich and diverse data for training blur interpolation models. The result is our real-world blur interpolation dataset, or RBI. In terms of quantitative comparison, when we compare BIT with prior methods, we observe a clear and significant margin of improvement in both quality and efficiency. Our approach delivers high-quality blur interpolation, and it does faster than competing solutions. Let's now delve into the ablation studies. Referring to Table 2, we observe a clear validation of the effectiveness of our proposed modules and strategies, including MSRSTB, DTS strategy, and TSE strategy. In Table 3, keeping the model parameters constant and increasing the number of blocks before T encoding, surprisingly, makes inference faster with only a marginal performance loss. Moving on to a qualitative comparison, as you can see, both bit and bit++ predictions exhibit remarkable resemblance to the ground truth, with much clearer details on both Adobe 240 in our real-world blur interpolation dataset, RBI. Moreover, the optical flow derived using our predicted frames shows an impressive closeness to the ground truth. This illustrates a significant improvement in maintaining motion consistency, further highlighting the superior performance of our method. To highlight the necessity of a real dataset, we present a cross-validation experiments between synthetic and real-world datasets. We present results of RBI samples predicted by independent bit++ models trained on both Adobe 240 and RBI in Figure 5a. The model trained on Adobe 240, when applied to real-world data, produced severe artifacts, indicating its poor real-world generalization. On the other hand, when we tested the model trained on RBI on synthetic data, as shown in Figure 5b, it did not introduce any artifacts, even though it couldn't entirely remove the synthetic blur. Finally, let me show you the video demos compared to other methods.